wherever you are in this glorious world, wherever you're listening in from. Welcome back to the Who Are You to Lead Anyway podcast from Mastering Skills to Navigate Leadership in Life, episode 40. And the first episode after we had the 15-day leadership summer camp challenge. I missed you. I hope everyone is doing well. As I record this, it is Sunday morning. It is beautiful outside. And I'm just going to enjoy talking to you for a little while. So, I am your host, Cynthia Jamison, if you've just found me in my work. And today we will be delving into the value of coaching and how it can transform not only your leadership journey, but your life. So, wherever you are, settle in. I'm excited to get started. And I also have something really special to share with you today. So, my intent is to share three things. The first is how I came to coaching and the profound impact that it's had on my life. I want to share some information about the Leadership Lens program that I have alluded to before on the podcast, but I'm going to be really excited to share this news with you. And then I want to share three ways which coaching can help you revolutionize your life and your leadership. So, for those of you who don't know me or perhaps haven't worked with me, I came to coaching after living a life of my own personal and professional challenges and working really hard for success over many years. And it wasn't until 2016 that I first even heard about coaching. So I had made a career change, and the organization that I was with believed in coaching so much so that I had a one on one coach. They had assigned a one on one coach for each member of the senior leadership team, of which I was a part of, which was a benefit and a requirement of my role to participate. And in addition to this, they also had a team coach for the executive leadership team. And just from a contextual perspective, both of these teams, the senior leadership team and the executive leadership team, would come together for team coaching on a quarterly basis. And it was only the team coach that was there, if you're curious about that. So, my thought as I'm saying this is, wow, this organization I worked with was really progressive with creating a coaching culture. And that was something that I had actually been in conversation with the president about when I was working there. And this is also something that I believe more and more organizations will be moving toward because of the changes happening in the world of work and with the transformation that takes place when leaders or humans, all of us, can have access to a coach. And I realize that's not always possible. However, it's becoming more and more known in the industry to really change the cultures of the world of work. So now, because at the time I had no experience with coaching, this is back in 2016, and I had no idea what to expect. Like I truly had no idea what to expect. I remember going around and asking my peers, I probably asked all of them, what was the value that you got from coaching? How did it help? And what did the coach do? Anyway, like what did this quote unquote coach do? I had all the questions. And so you might be having all the questions in this moment as you're listening to me. And so I thought it would be more useful for you if I shared these answers in the context of my own personal journey. So when my coach and I, her name was Janice, and I'm using the pronoun her because she is, and that's the pronoun that she uses. And what I want to tell you about that is it was incredible to me that even in only the first session, there was such a sense of connection and a feeling that like she gets me, she understands me. And I also knew because she told me, and I had to sign some forms, it was a confidential engagement. So whatever we talked about in the engagement was between her and I, and we both agreed and signed to this confidentiality. And so I had a deep sense of trust and connection with her, even in the first session. But I will tell you, it completely changed by the end in the sense that it was even deeper than that. And so in my very first session, in exploring some of my challenges, she helped me just explore my thoughts and my feelings that I had around those. And she challenged a limiting belief that I had, which changed my life. This was a belief that I had created for myself in my own mind. And so, in a 45-minute session, with the combination of questions, pauses, reflecting back to me, paraphrasing what I said, and really offering me space and grace to take time and think about her question and question my own thoughts, I could see how the story that I had created didn't serve me. And I also could see why I had created it. So I thought I was protecting myself. And it turns out, even though I might have been doing that or thinking that I was doing that, it was coming from a place of fear and doubt. And this was sabotaging me. So it was also, as I say this to you now in this moment, this is language I didn't even have 7 years ago. I would have probably said, I was beating myself up, but I wouldn't have identified it as sabotaging myself. And so in that particular session, I experienced such a paradigm shift that day that I left that session changed. Even the memory of it in this moment as I tell it to you is so incredibly powerful. It's like I can remember the time of day. It was around 11:30 in the morning. It was beautifully sunny out. It was very hot in the room we were in with the air conditioning unit. It was one of those plug-in ones. And I just remember closing the door and saying to myself, wow, my life is now changed. It was so, so powerful. So in the sessions that followed, Janison continued to question me. She continued to pause. She continued to challenge me in good and respectful ways. And we coached through all of the challenges. There was challenges with work. There was interpersonal. There was conflict. There was leadership. There was feedback. There was all of this stuff that we worked through. We coached around my values and more limiting beliefs. I have to tell you, they went up like puffs of smoke. And as I took action, of course, then things would come up. And then I would bring back that to the next coaching session. And then we would explore that. And then I would come to some new insight. And from there, I would be able to choose what I was going to do next. And as I did this, things started to shift and started to change. So what happened? My awareness grew. My mind opened up to possibilities in all areas of my life. So this is the interesting thing about coaching. Even though what you might be working on is a work challenge, whatever it is you learn, you can find that and apply your learnings elsewhere in your life. Because the way that we do one thing is the way we do everything. So for me, over time, my self doubt and my fears became smaller and they became more manageable. And even when it felt uncomfortable or emotional, depending on the circumstance, and we had some of those sessions for sure, I was able to process what was happening within me, to me, around me. And as a result of all of those things, I had more confidence, I had more capability, and I had more potential that was available to me that I could see. So it all expanded. My life expanded. My mind expanded. My opportunities expanded. So I'll tell you, I loved receiving the coaching so much that it became the highlight of my week, and it still is. And even though my peers would cancel sometimes, depending on what they had going on, my approach was always to work it out for myself so that I could show up and get the coaching. Even if sometimes I didn't know what to work on, Janice would help me sort that out too. So I saw coaching as a commitment to my own self development. It was a benefit to the company. I know it was a requirement for me to go, but it was more helpful for me to think about it as a benefit. And it was like this fresh reset or boost to the week, if you will. I actually like felt energized and felt better afterward. Not always, because, we could work through some of the emotional pieces and then that would be a different feeling. But certainly I could work through what was on my mind. I could figure out the next step that I would take or the path that was in front of me. And I also had the space and grace to process everything in my own time. Now, what's interesting about coaching is, and I know this to be true now as a coach, but as a human telling this story to you about my journey, I always felt that I owned the agenda. And I always felt that my growth was 100% up to me. Now, this is something that I also very much am transparent with clients that I work with. They will always own the agenda. They always get to decide where we go, what the options are, and whether they do or don't want to explore the thing that might be challenging them. And sometimes they might not be quite ready, and that's totally okay. There's no judgment there. So I've been thinking about actually one more thing I want to share about this is because I don't think I've mentioned it yet, is this place of like what Janice offered to me was this ability to speak to a person who wasn't working within my organization. They had no attachment to any of the outcomes. Of course, they wanted me to be successful for my own good, but also it was they didn't judge they didn't judge me. They didn't judge what I did. They felt neutral. And so I want to be and I endeavor to be and think I'm pretty good at actually being very neutral with my clients as well because I think that's so valuable is for you to be able to have persons that you can talk to that aren't as in your story or wrapped up in your story as you might be so that they can actually see that it was a story. Like Janice could see that I was telling myself this story. So I just wanted to add that piece. Now, I have been spending an incredible amount of time thinking about how my life would be different if I wasn't ever exposed to coaching. And I have to tell you, it's really, really hard to imagine. I mean, like who I am as a human, as a leader, how I see the world, how I see my role in the world, they're all just completely different because my perspective and my perceptions are changed. My experience of my professional life is so much more fulfilling and rewarding to me now than it ever has been before. Now, of course, this doesn't mean that I don't have bad days or challenges or get frustrated or lose my mind. Of course I do. And I get coached every week and sometimes more than once a week. So I think that you might know that I'm a passionate coach. And this is why I'm so excited to kind of tell you, get into the second thing I wanted to share with you today, which is that on August the 1st, so in 1 week from the time that you're listening to this episode, if you are listening in real time in 2023, I will be launching my new program, The Leadership Lens. This is the program for new, emerging, and high potential leaders. It's a place for unlocking impact, progress, and growth. If you want to make a difference and have an impact, if you want to stop self sabotage and manage stress, if you want to improve leadership effectiveness, it's a place for unleashing leadership potential. If you want to develop your authentic leadership style and approach, if you want to tame your inner critic and build mental fitness for yourself, if you want to navigate leadership, life, and career transitions with more ease and less angst. It's a place for empowered leadership through self awareness. If you want to gain an understanding, a deeper understanding of yourself, your values, your strengths. If you want to overcome self doubt, cultivate self confidence, and build a positive mindset. If you want to manage stress and navigate challenges. It's also a place for tailored leadership development where you are the expert on you. Look, I would be the coach, the guide on the side, where you lead in alignment with your values, where you co create strategies for your success. Again, you would have the agenda. You are 100% in control of your own growth. So I have been creating this since January of 2023. I've been thinking about it even longer than that. And you will be hearing more next week. I'm really excited. So, but in the meantime, feel free to send me all of your questions. And now I want to shift to exploring 3 ways that I think are pivotal that can help you revolutionize your life and your leadership. So, first, coaching empowers you. In this fast paced world we live in, it's easy to get lost in the noise and lose sight of our true selves. It truly is. A coach acts as a guide, helping you navigate the depths of self discovery. They create a safe and non judgmental space for you to explore your core values, your strengths, your aspirations. When you lead authentically, you inspire those around you and create an environment that fosters growth and collaboration. Secondly, coaching allows you to tame your inner critic, that voice that whispers this self doubt, the imposter syndrome, the limiting beliefs. And through coaching, we will take an inside out approach. And in doing so, you learn to recognize and challenge your limiting thoughts and beliefs, just like I did. You would get to develop strategies that work for you, which cultivate self compassion, boost your self confidence, and unleash your potential. Imagine the impact you could make when you lead from a place of self assuredness and inner strength. Like, just imagine that for yourself. And lastly, coaching equips you with the tools to navigate any challenge with grace and resilience. Here's the thing: change is inevitable. And as leaders, we must adapt and evolve because the world will keep changing. Even if we refuse to change our mindset, the world will keep changing. So, a coach you connect with can become your most trusted ally, supporting you through any transition, helping you clarify your goals, and provide guidance to navigate the complexities that arise. With a coach by your side, you not only overcome challenges, but embrace them as opportunities for growth and transformation. So if you see and hear the value of working with a coach and you have a desire to lead authentically in accordance with your values, stop self sabotage, navigate leadership and life transition with more ease and less angst, you're going to want to keep listening. So the Leadership Lens program will be lifetime access. So for the lifetime of the program, it was designed to support new emerging leaders in all the ways I've talked about and more. There will be weekly live coaching, there will be workshops, there will be a community, and there is an opportunity to be a founding member, which you will not want to miss because there is only one way to, to be a founding member, and there's only so much time to be a founder. And I would love to work with you. It would be so exciting to support you in your journey. So I want to leave you with this. If I were to boil everything that I've learned down to the essence of coaching, the poignant value for me has been in seeing how I think about things, actually spending time thinking about my thinking, which is something that I believe they should be teaching in schools. Personally, that's my personal belief. And I wish I would known about coaching when I was a new leader because, oh my goodness, I have no idea what I could have accomplished. However, I didn't. That wasn't my path. And while we can do things on our own, mostly because that was my journey, it was a do it yourself journey, even with good intentions, oftentimes we don't do the thing that we could do on our own. This is why when we want to go to the gym because we have accountability. This is why we want to work with other people because they can help us get stuff done. So I have great coaches that I choose to work it out with. And those coaches challenge me in the best ways so that I keep learning and I keep growing in all of the ways that I need to and want to. And it still feels uncomfortable. I'm going to be honest and transparent about that. And I also wouldn't change it. I will always have a coach at this moment in time. I can't imagine that I won't because coaching is future focused and it has created such an insatiable desire within me to help others step into the most authentic versions of themselves. I hope this was useful for you. I want to thank you so much for being along for the ride as we take this journey together. And remember, coaching has the power to unlock your true potential and create a ripple effect of positive change in your life and of the lives you lead and of the lives that are within your family, the relationships you have. So don't wait. Step up into your greatness. And until next time, I'm signing off with such a heart full of gratitude and deep belief in your ability to become the authentic leader you were meant to be. And I will see you next week. Hey, listener, it's Cynthia. I want to say thank you for joining this incredible expedition of self-discovery and leadership growth as a listener of the Who Are You to Lead Anyway podcast. I hope you've enjoyed the tips, tools, insights, and conversations with my remarkable guests so far. If you want to take your leadership journey to new heights, join my newsletter where you'll receive exclusive updates, bonus content, and valuable resources to support your ongoing development as a leader. See the show notes for the newsletter sign up. As a token of my sincere appreciation, I want to offer you a complimentary self-discovery workbook designed to raise your awareness around what might be in your way of even greater success. To claim it, simply head over to my website. I'll put that link in the show notes. www.cynthiajamisoncoach.ca. Sign up and your workbook will be delivered right to your inbox. And there is something I would love to ask of you. Your feedback is an incredible gift and is an important part of this community. I really want to know what topics resonate most with you, what guests you'd like to hear from, and how I can serve you better. Your ratings, reviews, thoughts, and feedback will guide me in tailoring future episodes to give you more of what you want and need on your leadership journey. So if you're loving the Who Are You to Lead Anyway podcast, your input means the world to me, and it helps me shape an even more enriching and impactful podcast for you. I would really appreciate your help in spreading the word about the work that we're doing here. Once again, thank you so much for being part of my podcast family and for investing in your leadership growth. Remember, leadership starts with knowing yourself and embracing your unique abilities. Together, let's continue to thrive as authentic and influential leaders. Thank you so much for listening.